Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever video. I love you all that are watching and I hope you enjoy. The first thing I would like to address within this video is a long-awaited change I strongly believe needs to happen. The skin tones in the dress-up section needs to be changed to maybe a color wheel instead. I have frequently tried making outfits with certain hair types but didn't have the correct skin color. As you can see, the skin tones are very limited, making it difficult for some players to access a certain skin tones that they may have. As you can see, there are only a few skin tones and the others are random colors such as pink and yellow. If you agree with me and you have had this problem too, please comment down below. Next, I would like to talk about the new currency. While it is a great concept for players that actually have friends, there are older players who may not feel comfortable friending younger players or players who just don't have friends to play with. For players who don't have friends or don't feel comfortable with friending, they may have to either friend random people or just not participate at all. If you have suggestions on how we can find an alternative for this, please comment down below. Next, I would like to discuss the butterfly event. As you can see here, this cost 25 social stones, and as I stated before, this may be hard for certain players to obtain. If you don't know, the Snapdragon Blossom gives you, here's a chart showing what all you can obtain with this food. Next, I want to discuss the Butterfly Sanctuary. It was beautifully designed and it truly a pleasant experience. There are two food baits, which are the bluebell flower and the goldenrod flower. Some players are upset due to how pricey both are, while others are just happy about the update and don't mind the price. Here is the chart that shows what the goldenrod flower food bait can obtain. Here is a chart of what the bluebell flower food bait can obtain. What do you think about this event? Do you think it is pricey or just right? Next is the Pride Month 2025 event. As you can see, this year they have pogo sticks in various colors that leaves a streak of the color that is chosen while bouncing. Each pogo costs $100 in-game currency. I noticed a big difference in the Pride Month this year. There isn't a lot like the previous years, however some players I have interviewed who are LGBTQ+ are happy with the event this year. What do you think about this year's Pride Month event? I feel like they could have done a little more detail, as you can see with previous event pogos having beautiful designs. But that is my own opinion. Next, I would like to discuss the new campfire update. The new muskrat, which costs $950 for an uncommon pet. And the last campfire update animal was a possum, which cost $800 also for an uncommon. I noticed after going into various servers, not a lot of players were happy about this price. However, the muskrats are very cute. Next, we have the maple tree leaf, which costs 199 Robux. This can obtain a mama moose, moose calf, and papa moose. Some players were upset about this being Robux, while others didn't seem to mind. How did you feel about this year's campfire shop change? I interviewed some Adopt Me players to get a good look inside the community and see what they have to say about current events in Adopt Me. Please do not send any hate. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. Do you feel like Adopt Me has changed over the years?
I mean, yes, but no.
Can you please explain your answer?
Like, the island has changed, but not the pets. They just need to add something else, like how they added stickers.
Do you believe Adopt Me overprices their pets with in-game money and Robux pets?
And not really. I feel like it's fair compared to some other games.
Well, that concludes our interview. Thank you for your time, and I will give you a shout out. Do you feel like Adopt Me has changed in a good or bad way over the years?
I think Adopt Me has changed in a good way, and people are overdramatic about updates. If they brought back a safari egg, everyone would have a giraffe and it would lose value.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices with in-game currency and Robux pets?
Yes, pet chances are always low, and paying $900 for a common to come out 30 times is dumb.
Do you feel like Adopt Me did a lot for Pride Month this year or not enough?
I'm not a huge support of Pride Month, but I think they done a good amount of pride decorations to make people feel included.
Do you think Adopt Me listens to its players when we ask for something in the game?
No, they are running out of ideas and won't listen when we give animal or egg suggestions.
How do you feel about the new social stone currency?
Angry. It basically tells me I'm broke and so much money for stupid social stones. And social stones include people having to join, and I have no friends.
Lastly, How do you feel about the new value system that has changed over the years now? A lot of people use Gi or ELV.
I use GG values and it helps. But people are stupid when it comes to values. I miss when we didn't care because it made Adopt Me fun and not hard and stressful.
That concludes the interview. Thank you for your time and I will be giving you a shout out. Do you feel like Adopt Me has changed in a good or bad way over the years?
Mostly a good way.
How do you feel about the value change with players using GG and ELV?
I don't know about that. I haven't really thought about it.
How do you feel about Adopt Me prices with in-game currency and Robux pets?
The pet prices are reasonable. Most of the time. Though sometimes people make it questionable.
What do you mean by questionable?
They ask for something higher than the pet itself sometimes. Like a diamond dragon for a golden dragon.
Do you feel like Adopt Me listens to their players?
No, they don't care about scammers or anything. They just want Robux.
How bad is the scammer problem in your words?
I believe that it should be stopped and Adopt Me should listen to players when they want the problem fixed. That's why I don't trust trade.
That concludes the interview. Thank you for coming. I will make sure to give you a shout out. How do you feel about Adopt Me? Has it changed in a good or a bad way over the years?
Yes, definitely. People should remember that it's for fun. I think people are way too worried about values. I enjoy playing with friends, and they seem to really like Adopt Me.
How do you feel about the value change over the years? Players are now using GG and ELV.
Yes, players are taking the fun out of it. It's all about overpaying for dream pets. You trade whatever for that one pet.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices their pets with in-game currency and Robux pets?
I believe that hard work and playtime should be rewarding and result in a rich inventory.
Do you believe that Adopt Me listens to their players?
To an extent, I feel that the developers put their own creative spin on things.
Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Yes, Adopt Me is just a fun game to hop on in during free time. Don't take it too serious. Just have fun. Thank you, Tiki. Sub to TikiNews.
How do you feel about Adopt Me? Did it change good or bad over the years?
I think it has changed in a bad way with values and how the players are.
Can you explain why you feel this way?
It used to be where you could get really good trades for your dream pets, but now you are having to overpay a lot for them. And the players have become more toxic and selfish against others now.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices their in-game currency and Robux pets?
Yes, because you have to pay 1,000 Robux for one pet. I say it should have been at least 100 for it.
How do you feel about the value changes such as players using GG and ELV?
I'm not a fan since now you can't get massive overpays or get your dream pets faster.
How do you feel about the Pride Month event? Do you think they did too little or enough?
I think they are starting to do less with the events now.
Lastly, do you think Adopt Me listens to their players?
I don't think they do because some people have asked things and Adopt Me doesn't do that, but sometimes they do.
How do you feel about Adopt Me? Did it change good or bad over the years?
Honestly, it changed in a good and a bad way. The good way is that we have trading license, so we can report the bad people. And the bad part is that there are still a lot of scammers.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing the scammer problem?
Well, I feel like they should have a licensed player in every server to make sure no one gets scammed. But I haven't really seen a lot of people get scammed lately.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices their in-game currency and Robux pets?
Definitely, pets that are not in the game anymore are def pricey.
How do you feel about the new value system players are using like GG and ELV?
I think it's good, but sometimes the values are off.
How would you describe the Adopt Me community?
I love the Adopt Me community. Most people are nice and give fair trades. Lastly, I just want to say Adopt Me has a good community. A lot of people are nice and are very welcome to the new Adopt Me players and the old-timer Adopt Me players.
How do you feel about Adopt Me? Did it change good or bad over the years?
I've always loved Adopt Me. It has changed, but not in a bad way. I love the new pets and updates, all of that stuff.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing scammers?
I think it's great that they are addressing the scammers, but I haven't seen them do that yet, so I don't think I can speak on it that much.
How do you feel about the Pride Month event?
I like how they did something for Pride Month. In my opinion, they did enough for Pride Month. It's better than nothing.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices in-game currency and Robux pets?
I mean, I love Adopt Me, don't get me wrong. I feel like it's a little too much to be suing for a virtual pet that's going to get traded in a couple of days.
How do you feel about the new value system involving GG and ELV that players use?
I'm not a fan of ELV, but I do use GG a lot and I think it's a really good app.
In your words, how would you describe the Adopt Me community?
Great, amazing, fair, and respectful. It's a very cool fun gamepad I think everyone should experience at least once.
How do you feel about Adopt Me over the years? Do you think it's changed in a good way or a bad way?
I feel great about it, and it's changed kinda good and bad because there's so many new things, but a lot of new hackers and scammers.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing scammers?
I feel good about it because the Adopt Me team is helping when we get scammed, so it's really helpful.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overpriced their pets?
Sometimes I think they're overpriced, but most of the time I feel like it's fair enough for almost everyone. So, yeah, I feel good.
How do you feel about the value system regarding GG and ELV?
Sometimes it can be tricky because I don't have any value sites, but all my friends have them and they sound really awesome and cool, and I think they're good.
Lastly, how do you feel about the Adopt Me community?
Oh, wow. It's wonderful, and I think it's really good and just absolutely wonderful. Like I said, and I love it. Even though there are some scammers, I still love it.
Do you believe Adopt Me has changed in a good or bad way over the years?
I think Adopt Me has changed in many ways, and two of them being good and bad. Good being better graphics, more pets, and new updates.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing scammers?
I think they're not doing a drop of work. In fact, other websites are doing stuff. I have gotten scammed in the past month and a half for my ride White Amazon.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices their in-game currency and Robux pets?
Completely. Adopt Me was one of my first games that I ever played on Roblox. And it was easy, a beginner-friendly game. And I feel like they have ripped away that whole idea and turned it into something very different.
How do you feel about the new value system involving GG and ELV?
I think it's a good idea and has slowed scamming. I think they need to have other games related to Adopt Me, including some of the major updates.
How do you feel about Adopt Me over the years? Has it changed in a good way or a bad way?
I think it's adapted to its players' needs, and I think it's changed for the better.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing scammers?
I feel like it might be a 50-50th chance they address it, but when they do, they're always polite about it.
How did you feel about this month's Pride event? Did they do too little or enough?
I think they did great. Personally, I think the prismatic butterfly resembles Pride along with the pogos.
Do you feel like Adopt Me overprices their in-game currency and Robux pets?
That's a good question. I think they price most things correctly, but some can be a little crazy, don't get me wrong though.
How do you feel about the new value system involving GG and ELV?
Personally, I use ELV, but I know some don't trust them, so I think just use what makes you happy.
How would you describe the Adopt Me community?
Mostly polite. I do notice that some people like scammers hurt people for their own happiness, but you never know what someone is going through.
How do you feel about Adopt Me over the years? Has it changed in a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. I like how they added more pets and special areas for special events.
How do you feel about Adopt Me addressing scammers?
I feel good about it.
How do you feel about the new value system involving GG and ELV?
I feel good and bad about it at the same time. I feel that way because it feels kind of weird to me.
How would you describe the Adopt Me community?
Caring, hardworking, loving, and loyal.
That concludes the end of the video. Thank you for watching the first ever TikiNews video. More uploads coming soon. TikiNews signing off.